Warframe, the game we'll just assume that it's Destiny for PC. I started playing this game around a year ago and I loved it. As someone who was an avid Destiny player, slaying Atheon and Crota 3 times for 1 week, it felt like home for me to hop on this game. Now, even though I love this game, there are some very obvious problems that I've experienced with it, one of which I and many other Tenno have experienced at least once. Well, unless you're a lunatic and play this game every single day. Do you know the definition of insanity? Yeah, I do. I don't even remember what Voss sounds like. That's the best I could do, okay? Now, what is the main problem with Warframe? Well, that's a pretty loaded question. Oh, Beta, how can you hate Warframe? That has a ton of variety, constant content being added into the game for free. Oh, Destiny, thousands of Warframes to choose from, different factions and teams to join, and rewards for playing with friends and pulling raids with them. What could possibly be wrong with this game? Well, one of the reasons that I just listed, of course. Constantly updated content. I'm gonna use constantly as a flexible word, because it can vary. Now, this is a good thing, but don't get me wrong. For something that has pros, it has its cons. Let me direct your attention to a very interesting word. Hiatus. A pause or gap in a sequence, series, or process. And yes, I just got that off of Google. I'm a fucking loser. Basically a break from anything, just a gap in something. Now let's apply a hiatus to this game. Now, like every other game, you need a break from it at some point, whether or not you constantly play it. You can get burned out from video games very easily nowadays, just because of how they're made. Thank you fucking Activision for that. You just might not want to play the game anymore for a certain amount of time. Same goes with Destiny, except the hiatus for that game occurs very quickly. So in this case, let's imagine we take a break from around 3 to 6 months for Warframe, which is a break I took in the past. Come back to the game sometime later, after around 6 months, you have all your frames, prime weapons, etc. But you don't know how the fuck the star chart works now. What is this? How does this work? Am I using this correctly? Did I complete this mission or not? Where did your void relics go? You were certain you had them last time you logged in. What are these new Lith and Meso relics, along with void fissures? What the hell are these? Why the fuck is the void an actual travel location now? What the fuck happened while I was gone, and where do I start? See, that's the main problem with this game. With it being in an early phase of its life, it has the problem where the developers are constantly changing up and improving it, which again is not a bad thing. It's encouraged, but for people like us who take long breaks from games and who don't just grind out the game 24/7, it's hard for us to keep up at times, and it takes some time for us to start up again. And before you even put in the comments, the first thing I want to do when I load back into Warframe is not memorize the patch notes from the past. I want to start playing. That's just how I like to handle things, and I'm certain a lot of people feel the same way as well. Actually, now that I think of it, this problem with Warframe is more of a paradox, or better yet, a double-edged sword. The developers want to keep making the game better, improve it along with maintaining the happiness level of the consumer by giving them more content to play along with during their time in the game. They don't even want the hiatus of a video game to happen at all. That's why they keep introducing content when people start getting bored. Just around every month or so, not even. But they keep forgetting we are human. We can easily get sick of things if we try repeating them over and over again. And people end up taking breaks from the game. It just doesn't work out for them. I know a bunch of people that played Warframe and they just didn't like it. They didn't want to play it. And the people who do take breaks from these games and still want to play them, it's really impossible for them to keep up. And when they get back, they don't know how everything works and they don't know where to start. And then they eventually get used to it and see, oh, this is much better than it was before. And so the cycle continues from there. I mean, hell, it's been worse for other people. Like my friend who loved Warframe back in the day, I don't even know when it released, maybe like a year ago, 2 years ago. He played it when it first released, and he had all sorts of Prime Warframes like Loki Prime, Trinity Prime. He worked hard and ground hard for all of that, and when he installed the game again recently to try and play it, after around a year of a hiatus, he had to start fresh. He lost all the time and effort he put into the game. Now, is what I'm saying a threat or a warning to the developers of Warframe to slow down with what they're doing or just stop altogether? Absolutely not. What they're doing is great, and I agree with it. Most gaming companies really want to do this, but the companies that control them, like Activision for say, won't allow that. The developers of Warframe, I don't know who they are, or the publishers, they're doing a great job content-wise. And hell, most of this is free. Like everything in Warframe is free. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to. It's just there if you want the grinding process to go down a little. But what they're doing just so happens to be a double-edged sword for the customers. It's a benefit for the long-term players, but for those who take a break, they don't know what the hell they're doing when they get back. Plain and simple. And though this is the case, I still plan to play and enjoy what Warframe has to offer. It's a great game and it's pretty much everything that I love from Destiny and more. Now this was my main idea of the main problem with Warframe, but we're all different when it comes to gaming. Some of us can sit for months and months and still enjoy the game, while others can only last a few weeks or so, and not even that, to enjoy a game and then switch to something else. So with that in mind, with all of us being different gamers, this problem may not apply to you. The only question I have for you is, what's your problem with Warframe?